I had mentioned on Monday how I was going to go through some of the dynamics and formatting for the catalog. And I talked about how we would take an image and use it on the back part of the catalog as well as on one of the interior pages that would be in a halftone or a gray halftone. So can I get you all to, did you all save the document that we were messing around with on Monday? Because if you haven't, you can just create a new one. All right, so you would go to, when you open InDesign, it'll be create new document. File, new document in InDesign to create a new document. It's going to be newsletter, print, don't use facing pages. You want it to be 8.5 by 11. You want it to be portrait orientation. For now, it will be one column. And you could also add a few pages if you want by going to Layout, Pages, say Insert Pages, and we're going to go 3 after the master page, so we have 4 pages to start with. And we're going to do something different with each one. So we'll assume that page 4 is the same page that our table of contents would appear on. So I'm just going to, for now, take an interior page. So we'll assume page 1 is the cover. So all I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to type cover as a placeholder. Page 2 is going to be blank, but I'm going to type in blank anyway, as a reminder when I'm doing my layout, that I just want that page to remain blank. Page 3 is going to be the table of contents. And we're going to talk about paragraph styles as well as other type of styles and show why it's a lot easier to do things with styles than it is to just have to keep going to each page. And for now, the back cover, I'm just going to type back cover, and that's the page we'll work on. So once we have at least 4 pages, I'll proceed. We all have 4 pages that are just kind of telling us a rough up of what we're doing here. Now what we want to do is we're going to place our, do you all have a copy of the Thunder Turkey logo? All right, so we're going to place that. So with the selector, see if I can drag it in directly. So if I have it on my desktop, I can drag it directly into the back cover. I want to try to find like an exact dead center spot on it. I'm sorry? It could be any color. Yeah, because what we're going to do is we're actually going to put it into a halftone. So find dead center on it, and then by holding Shift and Command at the same time, if you remember, so you can expand the image. So we've got a dead center now, proportionate. Now there are a couple of things that we can do here. Because remember I said I want it in a halftone, which means it's going to be barely visible, almost like a watermark. So one of the things I could do is I could go to Object, Effects, Transparency. And you'll note that it says opacity. That means the, you all know what opaque is. I mean, light does not go through as compared to transparent or translucent. If it's transparent, it's like a window pane. You can see completely through it. If it's translucent, it's kind of like the tinting on your, on automobiles. All right, we're going to kind of give this a tint. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the opacity. If we click on the little right-facing triangle, and then with that little drag bar, we're going to drag this all the way down to 10%. And then as soon as I click OK, it turns whatever that object is to a halftone. But suppose I decide, well, heck, I want it even more. All right, because I'm going to bring it down now to 5. I can either use the drag bar or the slider bar, or I could type in. 5% is what I'm going to go with on the back cover. And that is a layer, remember. So anything that I would put, I could now take text and put it right over that layer. And it comes through. But I'm just leaving the back cover label upstairs for now, just as a placeholder. Now that's one way to do it. So that would be, for example, the back cover. This would also be your table of contents. So we'll have this ghosted against the table of contents on an interior page. There is another way to do this. So what I'm going to do, where I've got it blank, sorry, I don't want to do it on the blank one. I'm going to do it on the table of contents, and then I'm going to add one more page after that. Actually, I'm going to add another page. Something else that I could do is I could create an object style. Which would allow me to make that change without having to go through all of the clicking all at once. So by clicking on Object Style, where it says Basic Graphics Frame or Basic Text Frame, I'm going to instead add a new style, create a new style, Object Style 1. I'm going to right-click on it, so it says Edit Object Style 1, because I'm going to change the title first, and I'm going to call it Thunder Turkey. So have we all got a new text or object style defined? I'll go through that one more time. By clicking on Object Styles, and then clicking on Create New Style, it will say Object Style 1, Object Style 2. I will right-click on the object style that I want to edit, and I'm going to call this Object Style 1. That's what the one I'm clicking on, but I'm going to change the title so that it reads Thunder Turkey. Image. Are we all there? I will then, where it says transparency, I will click to set the transparency settings. When I do that, you'll note that the opacity reads 100%. So how do I bring it down to 5%? I can hit the scaler and then drag it down to 5%. For the opacity, whatever. So now, when I click OK, it has turned into Thunder Turkey Image. Are you with me so far? I am now going to go to my Thunder Turkey image that I have on my desktop and drag it over. I'm on a blank page, so I'm just dragging it to some blank page. It's not showing up where? No, the image won't appear. All you have is this is a style. So double click on Thunder Turkey image, let me see what it reads. Okay, double click on transparency, let me see what that reads. You're set. But bring it down to 5. Yeah. And we'll look at operating with it right after that. So you've got what you need so far. Okay. So now you drag your original, whatever color you use that's not with a halftone. I want you to work with the original. And you're going to drop it onto the page and size it once again so that it is in the middle of the page as well as it fits the whole, whoops, sorry about that, Command Z. Holding Command Shift, I'm going to resize it so it fills the, come on, Command Z, try this again. Give me a second here. There we go. It's still doing that. Have you ever had one of those days where it feels like a rainy night in Georgia every day? I just lost all my pages too. Crap. Okay, I'll try this again. Okay, Mr. Turkey, come back. Command Z, or not Command Z, Shift. Okay, I'm extending it so it fills the whole interior. I'm moving it so it's dead center on the page. So with that highlighted, what I want to also do then is I'm going to copy that image. I'm going to go to another page. I'm going to paste it. Another page. I'm going to paste it. Another page. I'm going to paste it. So I've got actually 4 thunder turkeys up there, or however many you have. Now I could go to the effects and go through that whole process all over again, but I have already created an object style. So all I need to do is, with that object highlighted, now where did that, oh, I Command Z'd it out. All right, hold on a second here. Thunder, turkey, transparency is going to be 5%. I go to the next page. I go to come on, next page. I go to object style. When I hit thunder turkey, I go to the next page. This really is a rainy night in Georgia day. With the object highlighted, I go to object styles, thunder turkey. So it gives every thunder turkey I click under object styles those qualities. Do you need me to go through that again? Is that a yay or nay? Did I hear a yay? Okay. Just let me Command Z back to, okay, so I'm on, you've got the object style created, right? Delene? Okay, so when you click on the object, when you click back on object styles, and then you, oh, I Command Z'd it out again. Okay, give me a second here. Okay, so I go to the next page. So I've got one of the objects already based on those styles. So I go to page 3. When I go to object styles and I click thunder turkey, oh, I got to make sure this is highlighted. I go to the next page. I highlight the object. I go to object styles. I click thunder turkey. Go to the next page, highlight the object, click object styles, click thunder turkey. Oh. And then when I look at all the pages there, they all have the thunder turkey design. You just shike and bike. You need to see that again. There are other things you can do in object styles. Suppose, okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to save this. I'm just going to call it styles for now, styles demo, just so I don't lose it in case my computer dies. So far what we've done is we've defined a way that we can format objects. Am I imagining things, or did this just...
It's because you see it out when you make your first 2 object styles, and then each time you see it out,
Oh, it undid it. Okay. I'm back to normal here. What I want to do now is I'm going to insert, because the table of contents will be one column. Where do I have my table of contents? Got to move these back in place. Candace, is your hand going up or are you just stretching? Oh, okay. After page 8, actually I'm going to delete some of these pages now since I've done that demo there on how to do the styles. And suppose we are doing a page now that has our catalog images in it. So I'm going to add a couple pages here. So I'm at page 5, and I'm going to call this Giving Back, whatever it is there. I can't remember the title that we were going to use for the stuff out in the Dance Circle. What we're going to work with now is paragraph styles. And we're going to define several paragraph styles that allows us to do with text the same way that we did with images. So by clicking on paragraph styles, you'll see that it says basic paragraph, but I want to create a new paragraph style so that when I'm working on this type of text in the catalog, I only need to highlight it and then click that particular paragraph style, and I don't need to go through all the text formatting with all the stuff in the upstairs windows here. So I'm going to create new style where it says paragraph style 1. All right, everyone do that with me. Create new paragraph style, or new style, and then right-click on paragraph style 1, edit paragraph style 1, and we're going to call it section heading. And when you're doing your table of contents, this is the part that's going to be pulled into your table of contents. And it will appear at the very top of the page. So it's going to be in a large typeface, in a large type size. And then when we go to basic character formats, it gives us several different fonts and sizes. So we want it to be, we're going to use the font. Let's see, what am I? I'm going to use Palatino. You don't have to use Palatino. The font style, we're going to make bold. The size, we're going to make it 48, just for the heck of it. I'm in a 48 mood today, since it's a rainy night in Georgia. Where it says normal, just leave it normal. Where it says metrics or whatever, just leave all this stuff normal. Leave case normal and everything.
What did you change besides bold?
That was it. Oh, yeah, that's probably because, hold on, because in your, let's see, let me save this first. I'll click OK. Then and now it says section heading. Under edit, is it edit or file? Crap, I'm going back and forth so much. Just give me a second here. Yeah, I'm looking for the. Thank you. And that, units and increments. And under units and increments, it could either be pixels or points. So turn it to points. Thank you. So I've created section heading. Do we all have section heading with those? I'll right click on it so I can edit. I'll go down to basic character formats. Do we all have something with basic character formats at 48 point? Okay, we're just going to leave that alone for now because we're now going to create another paragraph style, and we're going to call it paragraph heading. So I click Create New Style. I right click. I then click Edit, and I'm going to call it Paragraph Heading. A basic character, I'm going to change that 48. I'm going to bring it down to 14. Leave everything else the same. This is just for the demonstration. You choose what you want your paragraph styles in, like the type size or the font that you want to use. But however, I want the paragraph heading to be a different font than the one that I've already selected as the section heading. So I'm going to change this instead to, I'm going to put it in at Times New Roman. And I'm going to leave that bold. So I now have section heading, paragraph heading. I'm now going to do paragraph text. So how do I create a new style? What do I do? Click Create New Style. Then what do I do? And we're going to call this one Paragraph Text. I'm going to just basic character formats, and I want the paragraph text. Ah, heck, I'll use Trebuchet MS. I'm going to drop it to 12 point. I want it normal or regular. When I click OK, I have another. What the heck did I do? I think I just edited the wrong one. All right, section, paragraph, heading. All right, give me a second here. Swear to God, there's a ghost in this machine. Okay. So far I've created 3 new styles. Now I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to change this into label heading. Don't use this typeface, but I'm just going to put it in there as a distinction. Don't use comic. I'll leave it at 12, and I want the label heading to be bold. I click OK. I've got label heading, and then I'm going to create one more called label text. I'll try Franklin something, or no, Futura, Garamond. What do I want to do here? What am I in the mood for? I'll try Georgia, since it's a rainy night in Georgia. I'm going to make the font style regular. I'm going to make it 10 point. So I've created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 text styles.
On the label text, if we want to indent our side so that it's right perfectly under the heading, we can do that.
You can do that there. I'm just showing you how to create the style. You decide, based on this, the other subtleties you want to do in the style. I know it's a lot to ask to make a decision, but I know you can do it. So now, I'm back on a blank page. Give me a blank page here. Page 4, yep. And I'm going to call this, trying to remember what sections I have in the, I'll pretend that we're going to do art in the raw. So I'm going to create, by drawing in a text box, oh, by the way, as part of the, give me a second here, paragraph styles, I said section heading. I'm going to edit that because I want every section heading to be not justification, orientation. Just give me a second here. Trying to remember where centered is. Oh, alignment. Under indents and spacing, I want to align center for section heading. And I'm going to type in art in the raw. And if I have that highlighted when I create the text box, that's what it will do for me. But if I have none of them highlighted and I'm just on basic paragraph and I draw another text box, you'll note that it looks quite different. So how could I take this new art in the raw and use section heading to format it without having to do all the extra clicks? So I could go to section heading and wham. And to show you what it does, if I go to paragraph heading, paragraph text, label heading, label text, so it provides a real quick shortcut on how to format text easily without having to do all the extra clicks because you've done them one time and then you only need to do one click to perform the operation. So I'm going to delete that. So I've just got art in the raw now. And that's the section heading. Now I also have the description for art in the raw. So I can highlight that text that I have. Oh, no, I'm just going to see if I can drag it over. I've never done that from here before, but I'll see if I can. Nope, okay. So I pasted the text out of my text editor into the art in the raw. It's paragraph text. So by, for example, highlighting that and I click paragraph text, why did I, let's see, edit paragraph text. Did I put that in? If ever the formatting doesn't look right, go back into your paragraph style and double check. So for example, I had this so it was centered. So I now have the paragraph text. Remember I set it to trebuchet 12 point, and it did that all ahead of time for me. And then based on this, seeing that, well, gosh, maybe this might be a little bit too small. I could go back into paragraph text and edit it. And I decide that I want the type size to be larger. So I instead am going to turn that into 14 point. When I click OK, it's enlarged. The paragraph text for here and any other paragraphs that I decide to use here. Now suppose in AfterSight I decide I want to use the Thunder Turkey. A couple of ways to approach this. So I might want the Thunder Turkey behind this. If I go to Layers, Create New Layer. So now I'm on Layer 2. I can go back to my turkey. Place it, and because layer 2 has the code red, I can go to Object Styles, click Thunder Turkey, move it to where it's dead center of the page. Resize. But remember that I want to just to be sure, in my layers, I want the Thunder Turkey actually to be at the bottommost part of the page. So all I need to do is I can take Art in the Raw, drag that up, and then take the Thunder Turkey and drag that down to layer 1. And then when I view preview, it will get rid of all those guides and it shows me roughly how this would look. And because now I have moved the text to layer 2, the text now appears red border. And if I click on layer 1, the turkey has the blue border instead of the red one. So the color coding, when I mouse over something, lets me know which layer it's on. Now, going back to pages, I'm going to select a blank page, the one after Art in the Raw. I could either create a new master, and I could call this new master, hold on a second here. I want it to just be 1, and I'm going to leave it with the prefix B. When I click OK now, it will show B master. I'm going to double click on that. So have we all created B master? You can change it. So what we're going to do now is with B master highlighted, we are going to go to Layout, Margins and Columns, and we're going to make it 2 columns. So when I click OK,
Do you want the gutter to be really large, or do you want it to be very narrow? Would you like the gutter to be very large or very narrow to separate the 2 columns?
yes, you decide. Because that would be your design problem as the designer. So I'm just showing you the basic operations. So now, so for example, I've created a 1-column master, a 2-column master, which would be used for the images and the labels. So I could then, by going to a blank page, you'll note by clicking, for example, I did on page 6 here, it's got the A master, but I want to turn it into the B master. I want that page to have 2 columns. What could I do very quickly to turn this into a 2-column? Drag B master down to that page, and it magically transforms. And I'm going to lay out just I'm going to lay out just 2 images per page on this. So I can create a guide to show me roughly the middle of the page. This is just a rough up, all right, just to give me an idea. Let's see, if it's 8.5 by 11, I imagine this would be somewhere thereabouts of halfway, at 5. Jesus, I can't even remember what the page dimensions I did. I'll just do that for now. So it just gives me a rough idea. Now, I go to one of the images I have formatted, which I hopefully have here. Oh, I do. Okay, hold on a second here. I did that one, and that one. Why are you all the way up there? So by clicking on place, I find the image I want to place, and I'm going to go with that one to start. So when I click open, remember I'll get a thumbnail. Thumbnail will be considerably larger than I want, so I'm going to Command Shift so that it will shrink proportionately. I'm going to move it to the space approximately where I want it to be, and it's still too large. So I'm going to shrink it a bit more. So it fits within the column. Move it so it sits kind of center. I am then going to place another image, so I go File, Place, now when I click Open, it gives me another thumbnail. Place that in there. I'm not going to bother cropping it and all that because it's just an exercise here. I'm going to resize it so that it will fit within So I've placed two images. I could define object styles and have every image I place with a little bit of a shadow box on it. That's kind of cheesy. But I could also have it so all the images have rounded corners. I could have it so all the images look beveled. Right, so I could do the same, once again, I can do the same thing with images that I can do with text. But all I'm doing is resizing them. And this is just a real basic format that we have here. So now I'm going to place some object text. And I can't remember, let's see now, see if I can find a dang thing. Here you are. And I can't remember what any of these are called, but when you look on any of the images, you'll see they have little text labels in the pictures themselves. If you zoom in, you can actually see what the image is. Let's see, but it doesn't look like any of these are the images that I have selected. But I'm just going to do this for the sake of this catalog. So I'm going to copy the text. I'm going to paste the text. Gives me the little text box that I'm going to move. I want it roughly centered. But this is just rough up right now because that's going to change. I may expand the text box so that it fits the interior column. When I go to paragraph styles, I've got label headings, so if I highlight, oh, hold on, it's there. And if I click label heading, it transforms the label heading into the predefined text. And then I'm going to highlight label text, or the other two. And when I click on label text, it transformed it. I realize that perhaps that type size that I used is too small. So what could I do to change the label text style that I did? I decided this is too small. I right-click on label text, edit, under basic character formats, I'm going to bring it up a couple points and try it out. That looks a little better. So now I'm going to highlight, and now when I click label text, I can then, I'm going to shrink that text box, and I'm going to move it so that it's roughly centered to the column and with the image. That text box is, but you'll note because the text box is so big, it still looks like it's off. So I'm going to shrink that text box a little bit more. And then when I move it, now I'm getting it centered where I would like it to be, directly across from the image. But I'm still not quite satisfied on the label text. I could decide that I want a space afterwards. This is one way to do it. All of these can be predefined in any of our, it'll come to me, our paragraph styles. So suppose I want the letters in the label text to be a little bit more widely apart. Right now it's at 14.4 automatically. I want to change that a bit though. So I'm going to change it into 16.0 for example. And when I click OK, it's actually expanded the label text just a little bit. So there are so many different options that I can do. Justification, whether it spans columns or not. I tend myself not to mess with all of these ahead of time. I kind of define it by working on one of the labels. So you can experiment with it and decide how you would like that to look. I'm just showing you how to edit your paragraph styles. So say for example with tracking, if I brought it up to 5 and if I look at what it does, just mess around with different parameters in your paragraph styles and look at what it does. All of these will have an effect on the way your text displays. So from this point on, any of the parameters I put on label text, they will apply. So if I dump in another label, I'll just dump in scissor tail. It's going to be label heading, label text, real quick and dirty on using the paragraph styles to format text on a content page, because this would be not, for example, Art in the Raw would be one of those content pages, another content page, where I have it left blank. I got table of contents. I could have pre-formatted for the table of contents. Where I have a curator statement, I would be using the paragraph text and paragraph heading, page section headings. So I can have all of that predefined ahead of time. So did you get a basic feel on how to create a paragraph style? And then how to apply that to text, not only as paragraphs, but even as labels or headings? Did you all get an idea on how to do object styles and how to perform any of those operations on objects? And then also how to create a new master page with a pre-formatting.